I adjusted the hem of my black satin dress, the fabric cool against my skin as I gazed out the window of our penthouse. Tonight's gala was supposed to be a celebration of our 25th wedding anniversary. The grand ballroom at the Orion Hotel was adorned with flowers and twinkling lights, each detail meticulously planned by my husband, Michael. But the gnawing feeling in my chest told me this night wouldn't go as expected. As the chauffeur opened the car door, Michael extended a hand to help me out. His touch was steady, his smile polished, but his eyes held a distance I couldn't ignore. Over the years, I had learned to decipher the many shades of his expressions. This one was the mask he wore when hiding something. Inside, the ballroom glittered with opulence. Guests mingled, glasses of champagne clinking in harmony with the soft notes of a live orchestra. Michael greeted everyone with his usual charm, his hand resting on the small of my back like a prop for the perfect couple act we had mastered over the years. I forced a smile, playing my part even as the unease grew stronger. "Darling, I'll be back in a moment," Michael whispered, excusing himself to speak with a group near the bar. I watched him disappear into the crowd, his presence immediately commanding attention. Left alone, I picked up a glass of champagne, scanning the room for familiar faces. That's when I noticed her. A woman in a striking red dress stood at the edge of the room, her eyes locked on Michael. She was young, no older than 30, with an air of confidence that bordered on arrogance. Her lips curved into a knowing smile as she watched him, and my stomach churned. I had seen that look before, the look of someone who believed she had won. "Jessica, you look radiant." A familiar voice interrupted my thoughts. It was Claire, my oldest friend. Her kind eyes searched mine, and I knew she could sense something was wrong. "Thank you, Claire," I replied, forcing another smile. "I just need some air." I stepped out onto the terrace, the cool night breeze a welcome reprieve from the suffocating atmosphere inside. The city lights stretched endlessly below, a stark contrast to the turmoil in my heart. As I sipped my champagne, the sound of approaching footsteps made me turn. It was Michael. "Are you all right?" he asked, his tone laced with concern that felt rehearsed. "I needed some air," I replied. "The room feels overwhelming." Michael nodded, his gaze lingering on me longer than usual. "Come back inside. This night is for us." I followed him back, but the moment was far from comforting. His words felt hollow, a rehearsed script rather than genuine care. The woman in red was still there, her eyes flicking to me briefly before settling back on Michael. The connection between them was unmistakable. As the evening unfolded, I found myself replaying the past weeks in my mind. Late nights at the office, hushed phone calls, the faint scent of unfamiliar perfume clinging to his suits. The pieces of a puzzle I had ignored now fit together too perfectly. Dinner was announced, and we took our seats at the head table. Michael raised his glass, offering a toast to our years together. His words were eloquent, his voice steady, but they rang hollow to me. My gaze wandered to the woman in red, seated conspicuously close to Michael's end of the table. Every shared glance between them felt like a dagger. Halfway through the meal, Michael stood, his chair scraping against the polished floor. "I have something to say," he announced, drawing the room's attention. The murmurs died down as all eyes turned to him. My heart raced. This wasn't part of the plan. "Jessica," he began, looking directly at me. "The past 25 years have been filled with love, challenges, and growth. But as we stand here tonight, I must admit something I've struggled with for months." I froze, the champagne flute trembling in my hand. The room seemed to shrink, the air heavy with anticipation. Michael's gaze shifted to the woman in red, and my worst fears crystallized. "I've fallen in love with someone else," he said, his voice firm but devoid of emotion. Gasps rippled through the crowd. "Her name is Cassandra, and she has shown me a kind of happiness I didn't know I was missing." The silence was deafening. My world spun as I struggled to process his words. Every eye in the room was on me, waiting for my reaction. Tears burned at the corners of my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. I wouldn't give him the satisfaction. "You coward," I said, my voice trembling with rage. "How dare you humiliate me like this in front of everyone?" Michael's expression hardened. I'm sorry, Jessica, but I can't live a lie anymore. The room erupted in whispers and murmurs, the guests' shock palpable. I pushed back my chair, the screeching sound echoing through the hall as I stormed out. Out on the terrace, the cold air hit me like a slap, but it did little to numb the pain. I leaned against the railing, struggling to steady my breathing. For 25 years, I had devoted myself to our life together. Every sacrifice, every compromise, every sleepless night spent supporting his ambitions now felt like a cruel joke. And for what? To be cast aside for someone younger, shinier? My anger simmered into resolve. This wasn't the end of my story. If Michael thought he could discard me without consequences, he was gravely mistaken. The gloves were off. The next morning, I made calls. First to a divorce attorney known for her ruthless efficiency, then to a private investigator. If Michael wanted a war, I would give him one he wouldn't forget. Over the following weeks, I dug into every corner of his life. Bank statements, business dealings, personal correspondence, nothing was off limits. The revelations were staggering. Michael's affair with Cassandra was just the tip of the iceberg. There were questionable financial transactions, hidden assets, even whispers of embezzlement within his company. Each discovery fueled my determination. At the same time, I began planting seeds of doubt among his closest allies. A well-timed comment here, a subtle suggestion there, and soon, the cracks in his perfect facade began to show. His colleagues questioned his judgment, his friends whispered behind his back, and Cassandra's presence only added to the scandal. One evening, I confronted him. Armed with the evidence I had gathered, I laid it all out on the table. You've lied to me, betrayed me, and jeopardized everything we built together, I said, my voice cold and steady. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? Michael's face turned ashen as he scanned the documents. Jessica, please, we can work this out, he stammered. Work this out? I scoffed. You made your choice, Michael. Now you'll face the consequences. As the divorce proceedings unfolded, I played my cards meticulously. With my attorney by my side, we dismantled Michael's defenses piece by piece. The media caught wind of the scandal, and soon his name was splashed across headlines. The once respected businessman was now a cautionary tale. Cassandra, too, found herself in the crosshairs. The allure of her youth and beauty quickly faded under the harsh scrutiny of public opinion. She became a pariah, abandoned by the man she had believed would be her savior. By the time the dust settled, I had emerged victorious. The settlement left me with more than enough to rebuild my life. But it wasn't just about the money. It was about reclaiming my power, my dignity, and my future. Standing on the terrace of my new home, I watched the city lights twinkle in the distance. The pain of betrayal still lingered, but it no longer defined me. I was free, stronger than ever, and ready to write the next chapter of my life, on my own terms. But as I stood there, the phone buzzed in my hand. A new text message from an unknown number flashed on the screen. You're not as clever as you think, it read, followed by a chilling postscript. We're just getting started. My heart stopped. I turned back toward the city, the sense of closure I had felt moments ago slipping through my fingers. Who could it be? Cassandra? Michael? Someone I had overlooked in my quest for justice? A shiver ran down my spine as the possibilities raced through my mind. This wasn't over. Whatever storm lay ahead, I would face it, and I would win. The battle had prepared me. This new war would define me. My story was